TDS got a big ol' update on Friday, and it's pretty epic, which let me just rant here a little. I waited so f***ing long for this update to drop, and when it finally did, I was so dead tired. Like, below, what the Anywho, they added a new tower, a new mode that we've been waiting for since, like, forever ago, and a few other small details that I'll get into. Before this starts, I just wanted to say you should subscribe, because why the frick not? I mean, it's right there. You click it. First, let's talk about the Brawler Tower. It's a hardcore tower that costs 1,250 gems. It's similar to the Gladiator because it doesn't get stunned by enemies, but it has a very cool feature which I'll talk about in a second. It costs $450 to place at level 0, and it has 6 range and does 10 damage with a fire rate of 1.2 seconds. At level 1, it gets 1 more range, its damage increases from 10 to 15, and now attacks every second, all for the cost of $700. For the cost of $1,500, the level 2 brawler gains hidden detection. Its attack goes to just half a second, but the damage goes back down to 10, just to balance it out a little bit. At level 3, its damage increases to 30, and its final hit damage is 60, this upgrade being relatively cheap at $4,000. At level 4, its range increases to 8, its final hit damage increases to 85, and the tower's most interesting ability, the reposition. This is where your tower can jump and fly anywhere else on the map, which is unheard of in TDS, again being relatively inexpensive at only $5,000. Lastly, for $14,000 at level 5, the tower's attack time is now 1/5 of a second, the damage is now 50 per punch, final hit is now 100, and the reposition does 200 damage to the towers in the area. From what I understand, the final hit ability is basically a hit that knocks back the enemy, and this isn't just some itty bitty slap. This thing knocks back. Just look at it in all of its glory. Now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the other huge thing. It's almost as huge as mine. PvP is back, and if you didn't know what that was before, then here's a quick rundown. PvP was a game mode where players on 2 teams would play as normal, but both teams could spawn enemies onto the other team's path, and the goal was to either win by overwhelming the other team with so many enemies that they couldn't defend against them all, or just have a good defense and can defend longer than the other team can. While PvP is only back for this weekend for testing, it's pretty obvious that it keeps the same premise, just obviously a lot more modernized. A few more things they have added in this update was the commander fix, which I talked about in my last 2 videos, so if you haven't already, go watch those. They added all these things for VIP Plus and did some tower reworks. Rewards also got a change in this update. At the end of every game, there's now a chance that any of these could be your possible rewards. For easy mode, you now have a 10% chance of a low grade crate, 2.5% of a mid grade crate, and 2.5% for a time skill ticket, and it's the exact same for Molten mode. Intermediate mode has a 25% low grade, a 10% mid grade, and 10% time scale ticket. Fallen has 30% low grade, 25% mid grade, and 25% time scale ticket. And finally, with hardcore, we have a 50% chance of a low grade, 25% of a mid grade, and 25% chance to get a time scale ticket. Overall, this update added quite a bit of content, fixed some issues that they had heavy backlash on, but overall, I'd say that this is a good update. I'd give it a 21 out of 7. Subscribe and you'll get an unusual cookie, which, what makes it unusual? Well, it's laced in fentanyl.